Yeah.
Man, do you know what? Record, because I just want to add a little bit extra bits for the beginning. You get me? Like,
it has still been recording.
no, like, you know, like them ones and thing. Like, just want to add them. You know, you get me? You know that got the 1 2 3 1 2 frizzle. I want a bit of like, yeah, get me? Just a bit more. Just want to add like a them ones and thing and cheese and I don't know.
Oh, you want to add that to the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought. All right.
I was talking to you like you understood what I was saying. Sorry.
Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3
1 2 3 1 2 frizzle. Coolio.
So, what's going on with you? I've realised over the last few weeks we've been sharing and talking a lot about what's going on in my single life, but not in relationship life.
I guess because in relationship life, I mean, there are things that happen, like in terms of different levels of growth in a relationship, but mostly it's the same. Like, it's mostly the same type of, like, I mean, like the only thing that might be different between the last time I spoke about relationship, before and now, the only thing that might have changed is situations. Like, for example, my girlfriend having a back problem at the moment. So like that's something that's like basically something that's different to what I've been talking about before. So everything's exactly the same, but she has this back issue which is affecting her, so she can't go to work. So she's been off work for the last 3 weeks and has been very emotional, been crying a lot based on the pain. And like, we're talking about pain all the time and like discomfort of sleeping, things like this. So like, obviously there's, you know, everything's just completely the same, you know.
When you say that,
I'm enjoying
it's the same though. What do you mean when you keep saying it's the same?
No, I mean like I'm happy. Like basically what I mean is that like I'm in a relationship, I'm happy in my relationship. There's nothing wrong. But of course there is that she's going through something at the moment and I'm supporting her through it. So there's just the levels of like, there's support and then there's enjoying the journey together where there's nothing to worry about because, you know, everything's going smoothly. And then there's the disagreement. So that, I guess there's 3 stages of a relationship. And I think that in our relationship it's predominantly like the things that stand out the most is support and just general like love and connection. Just connecting and talking about things that have to do with self-development and growth and the ways that we can do things together. Like, for example, like I put on weight, man, like 83 kilos I was, and like, all gravy. But what's been happening is that my midsection's been very, very, like, my midsection's just been getting the most of it. So like, I've been trying to lose weight. Obviously the unhealthy fats, which is like the patatas, like, you know, like the chip, like crisps and lots of bread, lots of like all the carbs that basically I've been eating whole loads of. That's been doing that. And like, obviously now I'm exercising and Sylvia's exercising and we both want to be in a diet because we both feel the same about our it's not really about like, oh, like, no man, we should look, you know, like models. Like, it's not like that. It's just more like a health thing. It's just like be more active. And like, I'm doing boxing now, so boxing's been a really good exercise for me, like just to obviously achieve that goal of losing weight and also just getting fit and being energized throughout the day. So yeah, like, it's good in terms of relationship at the moment. It's just really us supporting each other through the things that we want to grow with at the moment. And like, what I just get about relationship is that it's just all about like just owning your bad habits, owning your insecurities, owning those moments when you're just not feeling 100%, and they're just gonna come up, and you know, you're gonna deal with them the best way you can, and it's good to just have someone there who can help you get through it as well. And I really think the big thing for me in terms of relationship is just like wanting to be there for Sylvia and support her, like, and just understanding that's very, very important. Like, it's nothing to do with me. Like, it's just all to do with, like, just how is she doing? Is she okay? Okay, great. Like, like, maybe I have no control over the pain that she's having at the moment, but maybe I could just do this, and maybe this will make her feel a little bit better. Maybe it's not going to make her feel fantastic, but it'll make her feel a lot more better. Maybe take her mind off things, and yeah, just getting, that things are just going to happen sometimes, you know. Some things just going to happen.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, I bring up your single life a lot because I just want to see you winning, Ash, man. That's all, man. I just want you to get what you deserve, get the girl you want, but don't have the ego get in the way. That's all. Like, I'm not saying it's getting in the way, but what I mean is just that I just want to see you winning, blood. I just want to hear you like, yeah, man, I met this girl, she's really nice. Like, to be honest, things are going pretty well at the moment. Like, just want to hear that story, blood.
Yeah.
I think sometimes.
I think it's a similar thing though, in the sense of, you know, when you said it's kind of like, and you were like, oh, but it's the same, but, you know, things are a bit different, but it's the same. You said, like, you know, because at the moment what's showing up is, you know, that Sylvia's back pain and stuff, so kind of dealing with that circumstance. But then when you said about the journey, you said, like, you know, but you're happy in a relationship, like, you're both happy, you're both, you know, enjoying it, but as much as obviously possible, right, when in moments. And like, that's how I suppose relate to love life anyway, whether it's because I'm single or not single. Now, at least, anyway, for the last few years, whereas before it might have been different, like, oh, when I'm single it means kind of this, or when I'm in a relationship it means this. But now it's like, actually it's all the same for me, because the journey ought to be the same now when I'm single, as well as if I do end up being in a relationship. But then, you know, what it looks like is different. You know, that saying, like, oh, this is what winning looks like right now. It's like, that's just what it is for me. It's like, well, the journey is like ease and fun as much as possible. All right, and then of course love and care and nurture and being there as well. But like, what it looks like now in my single life is what it looks like now. And then when I'm in a relationship, there might be some similarities within reason, but obviously, you know, it would be with one particular girl continually, and then, you know, it on one level it would expand. That's how I assume. That's what I assume. It would, the degree of it would deepen compared to when I'm single. And the reason why I'd say that now is because I am much more what's the word? Like, I wanted to say militant. That's not the word that I want to use, but I will say it for now. But I'm more militant in terms of what it is, like, just how I share and what I give while I'm single now compared to before. So like, how I may have acted with girls sometimes when I was single was if, like, yeah, I'm a boy, like, you know, that whole idea that I'm gonna be a boyfriend, that's the way of being. So, you know, girls would get that boyfriend experience even without me being in a relationship with them. Whereas now, and that's because, yeah, that's part of my expression. I'm not saying it's not part of my expression still now. However, I'm gonna, let's change the word from militant. I'm much more discerning to, like, well, actually, like, it's got to vary. Like, I'm not gonna just share that with a girl, not just from my perspective anymore, because my perspective is, you know, the whole, like, obviously, yes, the idea of playing full out. I'm just gonna give you I'm just gonna assume you've got amazing value already, just because that's how I like to think of people, and you're a human being. And so I'm not saying I don't give people value. I'm not still doing that, girls value, but not in the way that I used to. I am at the same time, like, yeah, I'm gonna assume you have value because you're a human being, but also I want to see that. As we spend time with each other, I want to see that. I want to see you share that with me. And if you don't, then I'm still gonna get that you have value deep down, but you're just not living in it, or you're not
ready to share it.
You're not sharing it, exactly. And therefore, what I might share with you, in terms of that kind of energy that I might share with you, will vary now. Whereas before, I'd like keep giving the benefit of the doubt, you know, all that kind of stuff. And yeah,
Hello? You're cutting out a bit.
Blah 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 blah. All right now, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's cool now. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Whereas now, like, that just doesn't work for me anymore. There's just new things that work for me in terms of in the journey and moving forward, and what's really coming to me is just like really holding my standards and standing in that. You know, and I've had the standards before, but I've not always just held them, not consistently. And that's fine, because I've experienced what I've experienced and I've learned what I've learned, and that's all contributed to like my if you want to call it data that I've absorbed, which in turn I get to share with people when I'm coaching. So on that level, it's actually great. But now it's like a new stage. But like, that's quite interesting though, the way you said that, like, because you want to hear like the idea of winning, and like in terms of what you imagine you'd want to hear me say.
Yeah, it's not that I'm not hearing you winning.
But you want to hear me say something of that, maybe you know, hearing.
I just think it's oh no, hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
No. I think it's my feedbacks. Oh, it's okay now. No, it's just doing a bit of feedback in that moment. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think because like if you look at the last couple of weeks or few weeks where we've been talking, about the journey, in relation to you, a lot of my my comments or whatever it may be around it has some part been about the strictness. So don't be so strict, or I'll say don't make the ego get in the way, like don't have it because of a reason of this and this. And I think it's like just trying to understand that your journey is your journey, and no matter what you do on your journey, it's going to lead you to where you want to be in the end. Like it doesn't matter how I see it and how I feel it's going to be the best way for you, or like all my little concepts, like, cause it can obviously change every week. You could be like, oh, actually, she had a good point about that. But then a week after, it could be like, oh, actually, I don't know about that. And like, end of the day, it just all comes down to this is your journey and the choices that you're going to be making, like on your journey, and that's all it is. The only people that are going to know that is the people who share it with, and you, like, and obviously the universe, God, the higher being or whatever. So,
God is all.
Like, so how I see it in terms of how I'm commenting on your strictness is that because like there's the holding the standard, and then there's being strict, and sometimes I don't know if it's coming across as being holding a standard or strict, because I'm not in your world. Like I'm only hearing it from your view. And again, when you share it, it could either be like, I mean, if someone's there watching and scoping every move that you're doing, and they may be able to say, oh yeah, that's he's just been too strict. Like you can see there his body language, but only you're really gonna know, really, really deep down, if you're just being too strict about, or having too much of a fixed way of like, this is how it's gonna be, because I'm putting my foot down because all these girls did this and this to me before. They whatever the story would be, is like, oh well, they took advantage, or this, that, and the other. If that, like, we're never gonna know until you see it very clearly if that is the thing that's been triggering the way that you deal with women with your standards now, or if it's just generally naturally like, you know, this is actually my standards, and I'm gonna come from a place of love, but these are my standards, and the only person that's gonna know if it's triggered through one or the other is yourself. because you can share it, and I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, it sounds like you're not being too strict there. But deep down, only you're gonna know if you have been strict or maybe you're right. Oh shit, hold on.
Yeah.
I've realised that actually maybe I have. So that's why it varies a little bit. It's just very. It's a very thin line, man.
Yeah,
between the both.
I hear that, because like it could, on one level, it could be like it's the same thing, but on one level, it could be from the place of just being strict.
Yeah, or you're bringing up the past. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And from another place, it could just be nah, just love, and this is just what I prefer. So I am checking in, like just making sure as well with myself, but I actually feel empowered with it, and I think that's the compass that helps me know. All right, kind of going. Like I feel like then I'm going in the right direction, and it has meant actually over the last few weeks, I've actually had like less dates, like as in with various females. As well as less like when I say less communication, it's communication. I mean communication with females, but not as many as I could, for example. I'm just gonna stop because that sound. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
Yeah. But not as many as I could have been, and that is partly because of the just how I'm approaching and dealing with things, and it's like I'm just standing in like, okay, this is a new kind of thing that I've created, and just standing in, it will work, and the seeds have been planted, and the fruits will start to show and grow. Just stay focused on the labor, as so to speak. Be focused on the labor, not the fruits, and so. Because the kind of girls that I even want to just be hanging out with and dating, I want to kind of be on a different kind of caliber of energy. That's like that's what's more important to me at the moment, even more so. Just the kind of energy that girl is bringing or operating from. So yeah. All right. If you were to give me some coaching then from outside. Because on I get it. Like obviously, I'm in my life. I'm living life. So I'm not seeing me from. I'm not like from a wider, bigger perspective for outside of me at times. But what would be your coaching?
I can only go based on my experience, really, on how I'm going to coach you.
And also from the place of, I suppose, when you say about what you want to see for me, in the vision of what you want to see for me, what would you say also is the coaching in relation to that showing up?
To be honest, I think that everything you've done with all the girls that you've been dating, like including the ones that you got in a relationship with, yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with what you was doing. I don't think there's ever been anything wrong with how you've been contributing to them. Like, I'm not going to say the whole thing, but I mean the contribution side.
Yeah,
like the caring, the nurturing, the taking care of. I don't think there's anything wrong with those things because they were who you were.
Yeah.
I think what was getting in the way is you have an expectation of them doing equally the same as what you're doing, or if not more. And I think that's the only small thing that was in the way of having your experience a good one, or a great one even, so I say, because it was a good one. I think all of those experiences were good ones because you were able to express that. But what's giving you the lack of power is focusing on what they're doing. It's like, hold on, this person's not doing this, this and this, or she keeps doing this, this and this, or like it then became the conversation of how they are being.
Yeah.
Whereas the focus being on, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and this is what makes me who I am, is by doing what I'm doing. I think that
so don't you think now I should be more selective on who I do that with?
No, I think you should keep doing it.
No, but
like,
I'm not saying not doing it. Just be more selective of who I do that with.
No, I just think you should just choose like that. Not based on a selection, because you're never gonna know someone enough in the beginning. I don't think anyone's gonna give you enough.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to put women in this like thing of like, yeah, but especially women, like, because the thing is, I just think that with women, like we've spoken about this before, I just think with women, mostly they have their guard up for the most part because of just the journey of their life as a whole. Like, especially if they're attractive, they always get approached a lot. There always has to be something a little bit different and unique about one person's approach to all the other guys that have been doing this approach. Because if they're getting approached a lot, there has to be one like significant thing that stands out, or that trustworthiness that needs to be there, or that comfort level that allows them to say, well, do you know what? Out of all these 100 guys that keep approaching me all the blooming time, there's this guy. And actually, do you know what? This guy, I think he's a winner. And like, I think you have that element of being their winner, but what's in the way is the early stages of working out if they are a good selection or not. Whereas you're never gonna know until their journey unfolds. Like,
When you say selection,
never
are you
selection.
talking, when you say that, you mean in terms of like girlfriend? Is that what you mean? Because I meant as in like.
No, you mean as in who to hang out with.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're wanting to hang out with them, they're always going to have potential to be a girlfriend. Because of course, if you're hanging out like that, I mean, like you said, like what you touched on last week, is like there's nothing different with dating. Like, I'm still dating Sylvia. It's just that we have we're calling it a relationship, but it's still kind of, we're dating. And like, the thing is, like even more, like, just to break it down even more, we're just hanging out. So me and Sylvia hanging out every day, and I live here now, and we hang out more than we used to. But we're still hanging out. Yes, I get it. Like, it's the whole hanging out thing, and I'm choosing to hang out with her, but be loyal to that in terms of there's another girl that gets my time. Like, oh, by the way, Sylvia, I'm just gonna meet that girl, that I met last year, just for a drink, and like, if I was to keep it completely raw, like, if like, that's the thing that's there for me now. It's just like, no, I don't want to. I'm choosing Sylvia now. Like, that my journey is going to be filled with spending time with Sylvia. Like, of course, when you're single, what you're doing is you're hanging out with women, but of course, it's in the early stages. You're just hanging out with women, and it's okay to hang out with another woman while you're hanging out with one, because, like, let's face it, it's the beginning stage. It's very early on. Yeah, you don't know what's going to unfold. So I'm talking about the hanging out of women, and I think that every girl that you choose to hang out with is always going to have a potential to be someone that you want to hang out with more often in the future, and otherwise you would have had them in the first place be someone that you'd like to hang out with. And it's the same as Sylvia. When I met Sylvia, there's a few dates. I was even telling Sylvia this last week. Like, the thing is, when I went to meet you that day, and we was hanging out, and all the times that we contacted each other after, and in her head she's thinking, I'm not gonna contact her. She thought that it's just this guy who I guess we're gonna hang out, and then I'm not gonna hear from him again. And of course, when we was arranging to meet up that day, it was like, it's either today or in a couple of weeks. And like, for me, obviously it wasn't a couple of weeks, and for her, obviously it was a couple of weeks. It was just making sure that it was like we were putting other things in the way of, like, we could have said, oh, well, so how about tomorrow? But we was making up excuses of, no, that tomorrow there's this, and then there's this, there's this. So when we met up and we enjoyed each other's company, and then I contacted her, and then we met up again, that week that we said, or that 2 weeks that we said that we weren't able to meet, we'd have met like at least 4 or 5 times that in the space of that time. So what was the thing? Is the thing that I met up with her for the first time, and I knew I would like to spend more time with her. Did I think she was a girlfriend material at that point? No, I didn't. To be honest, it's just someone I felt that I'd like to hang out with more. She seems good vibes. We're talking about stuff that, I mean, let's face it, like, she's from Spain. So like, to be able to connect to someone who's from Spain, her first language is not English. She hadn't been speaking any English other than school before she met me, man.
Oh, okay.
So like it's mad. Like she started to end up just speaking more Spanish, obviously English, because she's with me or hanging out with me, and that was our only real opportunity to speak English the most. So for us to connect in the way that we did, it's like raw, like obviously something there, beyond just culture and beyond, you know, our skeletons in our closet or whatever, like all these little things that come up in our life as individuals.
Yeah.
But then fast forward to today, there's all these things that we're doing now, like we're in a relationship, we're together, we're living together,
Yeah.
and it's all just a part of me doing that first choice of contacting her after the first time I saw her.
Yeah.
And saying, oh yeah, let's hang out again. So she always had potential. There's many girls before her that I'd met up for a drink and I didn't feel like contacting them. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with them. It wasn't that, do you know what, they're not good enough, or I could have easily written to them as well, but there just wasn't anything there for me to do that. And it wasn't about being so selective. It's just about, does it feel like, am I just forcing this?
Yeah.
Just because I want to bang? Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel, I didn't feel excited to meet them again. We're like, yeah, like, you know what? Like, that's fun. Like, yeah, like. So I think if you like someone and you're meeting up with them, you know, like, it'd be cool to hang out and, you know, spend some time with you. That one choice there is enough. Obviously, on the journey, you get to choose how you select from there, if you want to stay in touch with them or not.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth, and whatever unfolds. But from that point where you choose them to want to hang out and let's go for a drink, they're always going to be a potential girlfriend. Always. Every girl has potential to be your girlfriend. It's just, at the end of the day, it's about how the journey unfolds, and in the space of time it does, how open they're going to be in the beginning. Because there's a lot of things I know about Sylvia now that she wasn't sharing in the beginning, because she felt vulnerable and she felt like it's too early to express those things, or vice versa. The same with me. Like, maybe there's things that, well, actually I think I was quite open in the beginning about ex-girlfriends and insecurities and you know, all these things, but that was just the point of my life where I was at.
But I feel like that's probably the best way I can contribute right now. In the early stage of share is just by being open. Yeah, being completely as much as possible, really. But then also what I might do with them or for them might still vary early. Because I do hear what you're saying. What you're saying about like continually contributing and stuff, and I do want to keep contributing, because that is just part of what I just met with me, and like that whole win-win. And at the same time, when you said about like I ended up being, you know, with some of them in the past, like focused on what are they doing, but that is equally important. So I don't know how to not be I don't know how to not be aware of that from time to time, at least, because on one level, because literally, like, this is how I feel about a relationship or a girlfriend. I really am not. I really don't mind if I don't have a relationship again or girlfriend again. It's just like how I felt before Amber. This is how I feel again still. Like, if I don't end up having that, obviously I'd like to have children, so that's just something else. I have to create that in a different way if it doesn't come through that way. But so for me, I'm like, so if I am end up, like, you know, before I was like, oh, if I'm going to end up in a relationship because I want to be in love, and that was great, and that ended up showing up. So, you know, that's how I just went with that flow. And yeah, that's still partly there. Like, obviously I'd like to be in love, but like, for me, it's not just love now as well. And it is going to be about the kind of girl that shows up, how she shows up, and the energy that she brings dominantly of the time. So like, basically, and again, I get it's all my perception, right? I definitely get it's my perception. This crossed my mind the other day. Yeah, you know, do you remember? Alright, so when I was seeing Amber, I was also seeing two other girls. And you know, there was one from Birmingham. Yeah, so we've been messaging the last couple of days, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The one that I said to you, and you said, oh, I'm not sure if... Really?
Yeah.
Them ones and ting, blood. Funny, blood.
I know.
Yeah,
I know, because I said that wouldn't happen. Yeah, but the only reason why we ended up messaging was because, you know, with the thing that happened with the Grafenor Towers. You heard about that?
Yeah.
So
fucking tragic, man.
I know.
Yeah.
So I noticed she liked one of my posts about it. And then when just before I noticed it, she crossed my mind that morning. So then I sent her a message to say, oh my gosh, like, you actually crossed my mind, and I saw you, and I just saw that you'd like this, and I just said, I hope you're okay, basically. And then she responded and was like, yeah, she's not bad. And she asked me how I was, so we've just been chatting, and I said, like, cause I said it from early on as well in the conversation about that. I brought it in the conversation early on about, and she asked me like, how's life, how's things been going, and I was just saying about like things that I've learned, epiphanies and and I mentioned about like from being in love, being in a relationship to not being in a relationship, and I wanted to say that early because I didn't want to have the experience of like, oh, I'm chatting, we're getting comfortable again, and then I say, oh, by the way, I'm not with someone anymore. I didn't want it to come like that. I wanted it to be like, just say it from early on, and if we still keep chatting, we still keep chatting or not. But I said to her as well, like, I wouldn't be surprised if she's married now. Like, maybe not married, but as in like, you know, with someone at least, because she was a cool girl, and she's a really cute looking girl as well. And she was saying like, oh yeah, she's not bad. And she said, yeah, she's actually she's met an amazing guy, and she's with him at the moment. And but basically mentioned that. And then I don't know if it's when it crossed my mind later on, and I remember just thinking, isn't that just such a great way to just be able to describe someone that's in life? Not just like, oh yeah, I'm with someone, or like I met someone and they're quite nice, or they're quite cool. Those are nice things too, but like, you know, amazing. Or it might be a different kind of word, but of that kind of level. It's like, isn't that just nice to say? And I get it's all down to your perception, but like that's kind of how that was like a nice cherry on the cake for her saying that, because it was like, if I am gonna be if or when I'm in a relationship again, I actually want to be able to say that as well. Yeah, I'm with an amazing girl.
Okay, I'll rate you for that. It makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I haven't. This isn't diminishing anyone in the past, but like for the last few years, like I've not had that necessary experience to be like, oh my gosh, I've met this real amazing girl.
Actually, no, you have. In the beginning stages, you did say it in the beginning stages.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say
definitely, no doubt. Yeah.
I've met some really cool girls and girls that have some great qualities, like that. But as in, to experience saying that, and like really actually feel that, not just because of my perception, because of my things, my preferences, my filter, but because they actually show up like that too, whatever that means. But they show up that way, where it's easy to say that as well, versus I'm just gonna believe you're amazing still, even if I don't see all the amazingness at the moment.
But here's the twist, cuz. She said that.
Yeah.
But it's how you receive it, and how you received it is everything you just said there. But she may have said that just for that moment, and may not always be feeling that.
True.
But it's just the fact that she said it, and it resonated with you in the way that it has now.
Yeah.
That's what it means to you in that way.
Yeah.
She might have a conversation with someone next week who's like, oh, I just had an argument, and you know, I just think he's not doing this. And it might be completely different context, but at the end of the day, it's just from the moment.
But she might not. But she may not. But underlying it still, she may still just get like, I know he's amazing.
Yeah. But then it's still your perception of like that as the whole concept of it all is that she thinks he's an amazing man, and that could be with you forever. That she's with an amazing man, and like next year, she's with an amazing man, but between now and next year, loads of things could happen, or loads of things could be said where she's not said the same thing.
Yeah.
And someone else is gonna have a different perception of their relationship, like, oh, she's always complaining about him, that he's not good enough, and And at the end of the day, it's just what it landed like
But
for
it's
you
more
at
about
the
how
moment.
she feels about the person, or like if I bring it to me, it's more about how I would feel about that person.
Exactly.
Even when those crappy things happen, and it's like, oh freaking hell, but then coming back down to still like, but look, like she's amazing though. And that's the thing, like.
But do you know what I think is even more deeper than that? Is
I'm just using that word as an example. It doesn't actually have to be that word, but it's like
no.
kind of.
But do you know the first thing that got triggered for me when she said that I met this amazing man? Yeah. From your perception, is that you wanted it to be that you could also say the same thing that she said, and be able to say that.
What? Nah.
With confidence. No. I mean, in general, like it'd be nice to be able to have that experience of saying,
"Oh yeah,
I'm with an amazing woman," or "I met this amazing girl."
Yeah.
But for before
I meet a lot
of
cool girls. I'm not saying I don't meet cool girls. Not saying I don't meet decent girls.
Yeah, I know, I get that. But just the way it's expressed, that amazing man, I get.
Yeah.
But what came up for me immediately, just before you said what you said, is the fact that he's come across as being an amazing man. And why? Because he is being an amazing man. Like, that's all he's being. Like, I think, like, it's the focus of him being an amazing man, and she's now acknowledging it. He's an amazing man. She's saying he's an amazing man because of the amazing things he's doing. And it's like the thing I was saying to you earlier, it's like, you're an amazing man, and you're going to be an amazing man to every woman that comes into your life, and you're going to have all these ways of contributing to them, all the gifts, all of the thoughtful ideas, all of the ways that you want to express and nurture them, and these things all contribute to being an amazing man.
And is it so much to ask that I wouldn't mind the other way?
Yeah, I know, but you haven't heard his point. And like what his point, like he might say, "Oh yeah, it's an amazing woman," but I think he's like
no, but
if I want to put it,
I mean, in my world though, like not in, because I don't know what. Obviously, she just said that as words. Who knows? She could have just been saying that as well. It could have been all that stuff, but just the fact that it was just in my current, it was like, that'd be cool to be able to say that, be able to say that again and really feel that way, even when, or even if I've seen crappy sides to that person, that I still would feel, but that person's still amazing. Because with some of my past experiences, I've had, I feel like I've had to say that without sometimes any evidence still, or any real feeling like that is the case, but just because I'm like, I know you must be amazing, I must be great, because you didn't come into the world that way, and you're like doing all of that, and that's great to do that. But I want to be able to just not do that and just be like, because she just is as well.
And you know what, it just takes just doing that though, like, because it doesn't have to, like, how can I describe this, Ash, man? Like, I'm in a relationship here, and I say I'm happy, but that doesn't mean that it's always been happy. It doesn't mean that it's consistently been like, yep, I'm smiling all the time, busting bad joke, like, there's been moments where it's been pretty peak blood, like, I mean, I'm talking about things that might have almost spoiled, you know what, maybe we should just allow this thing, like, and at the end of the day, it's just the fact of just, like, understanding what if, I don't want to really say fighting for, because it just sounds too much like, fighting, but just
dedicated to,
like, we know what we're passionate about, and we know what our goals are, and we know what kind of stand we want to be for each other. Of course these things come up, of course these things that, you know, individually that we need to improve on, maybe, or there's things that, you know, will make the experience a lot better. I don't think you can say a lot better, can you? No, you can't say that. I always do as double. I don't even know what you call that thing, but anyway. So my point is that it doesn't always have to feel like you could, like, because,
but I'm not saying it always has to feel that way.
No, I get it. It's just
being able to, it's just that being able to say that and really mean it and feel it and believe
But
it.
I feel like you have already. Like I feel like
Yeah,
you have done it with her.
I've never. I haven't for a long time though. In terms of girlfriends, past girlfriends, I've cared for all of them. Some of them I've just obviously I've loved deeply, and thought that they're just a beautiful human being as well. But some of that conversation is also to do with because I'm just self-projecting that, which is a good trait to have, because then I don't have to always be dependent on what's showing up. But out of the four, there's only one that I'd really be able to say she's an amazing girl. Well, okay, they're all amazing girls, but as in, like, I experience, like, as in, it's not because I have to tell myself she is amazing, because she must be amazing.
I think there's something. I think there's something more deeper than the wanting to be able to comfortably say that they're an amazing girl.